Well, and what was the number you had on, what was the percent of homes that that sold for less than list price overall?
So
that's a good one to share.
It was 49% of homes in Whatcom County actually sold for under list price.
So about half, essentially.
Yeah. And I know 20 of those buyers.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So basically, the way that things were getting done was oftentimes just, higher rates, but people were buying their rate down, getting closing cost credit, negotiating more.
Yeah. I mean, even on inspections, I had one client got a new roof, new water heater. I mean, I think too, like towards that time, like in November, there was kind of like the seller panic of what was going to happen with the election. Yeah. And so a lot of my buyers in that November month, it wasn't even really negotiations. We said, this is what we found on the inspection, and the sellers didn't bat an eye.
Yeah.
It was just, okay.
Yeah. Just a little more fear from the seller.
Yeah.
From sellers in an election year. Definitely created, some good deals for sure. And we're still in the winter. There's still some of that for sure. But there's a little bit more confidence kind of coming into the market with the election being over for some people, depending on that. Sometimes it depends on your political stance and what you feel good about, but at least having the election over. But you're right. So that was definitely the election was a factor for 2024. No doubt about it. Touching on that a little bit more, it's always good for people who are trying to make these decisions to talk to a loan officer and run those numbers, because to your point, sometimes when you look at the numbers, you say, well, I'd rather wait until rates are under 6%. Well, if somebody gets $30,000 lower on the price right now, or $20,000 or whatever in a new roof, that might be a better deal than if you wait until rates are under 6% again. Yeah. And then when rates are under 6%, the buyer competition increases dramatically, and then your negotiation power is gone.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And so you're absolutely right that so while as long as when the rates are higher, yes, it's less affordable, but yes, the buyer also has more negotiation room. And I'm sure that I'm going to touch on the stats right now. So the stats right now are it's a 3-month supply, meaning if no more inventory came on, and based on how many sales are happening every month, we would get through all of the inventory in 3 months. 3-month supply is a pretty level, flat market, slightly more of a seller's market, but pretty flat market. But under 750, it's under a 2-month supply, which is really a seller's market. But most of the sales were under 750. Yeah. So that's kind of that's a fascinating aspect of this, is that even though on paper, that median price range is still a seller's market, there's still deals that are being done.
I've got strategies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's great. And definitely, but you would say, well, you agree though that over 750 and over $1 million, even more negotiation room.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And this year I saw a lot of contingent offers getting accepted a little bit more, at least it's in the 5 years that I've been in real estate.
Yes.
It wasn't as challenging for my sellers to relocate as it had been previously in the past years.
That's a really good point. And so you're right. When we go back to 2020, 2021, especially 2021 into early 2022, when the rates were super low, when it's a really hot, fast-moving market, it's super difficult to get a contingent offer agreed upon where the seller or the buyer still has to sell their home. You're right that in this kind of market, it's a great environment to where you can list your home, have it be contingent, or actually find a home first, I should say. Yeah. Instead of selling your house first and then rushing to buy a house. Yeah. Actually finding the house first, then negotiating on a deal subject to your home sale.
Yeah. And my contingent clients this year, we went into the beginning conversation of, we're in the market where you might have to give a buyer some concessions, but just know we can also ask for concessions on your side too. So we had a lot of wins on both sides with contingent offers this year.
That's great.